everyone. Did you know that learning a new language can actually rewire your brain? That's right. Studies have shown that bilingual individuals have better cognitive flexibility, meaning their brains are more adaptable and agile. Fascinating, isn't it? Welcome to Conversation Corner. I am Maya, your host. If you're here, it's probably because you're interested in language learning. Whether you are a beginner or a seasoned polyglot, today we are going to deep dive into the psychology behind language learning success. We will explore why some people seem to pick up new languages effortlessly while others struggle. And I will share some practical tips to help you on your language learning journey. Here's what we have lined up for today's video. First, we will talk about the cognitive benefits of learning a new language and how it actually changes your brain. Then, we will discuss the importance of motivation and mindset in language learning. I will share some effective learning strategies that you can start using right away. And we will wrap up by looking at some common pitfalls and how to avoid them. So, stick around because you won't want to miss this. The cognitive benefits of learning a new language. Let's look at brain plasticity and language learning. So, let's start by talking about brain plasticity and how it relates to language learning. Brain plasticity or neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. This ability is crucial for learning new skills, including languages. When you start learning a new language, your brain begins to form new neural pathways. This is why it might feel challenging at first. Your brain is literally rewiring itself. But here's the amazing part. This rewiring does not just help with language skills, it can improve your overall cognitive abilities. For example, studies have shown that bilingual individuals tend to have better problem solving skills and cognitive flexibility compared to monolinguals. They can switch between tasks more efficiently and are often more creative in their thinking. Improved memory and problem solving skills. Speaking of cognitive benefits, let's talk about memory and problem solving. Learning a new language exercises your memory, both short term and long term. Think about all the vocabulary and grammar rules you need to remember. This constant practice strengthens your memory muscles. In fact, research has shown that bilingual individuals have better memory retention. They are also better at solving complex problems because they are used to thinking in different languages and navigating different linguistic structures. This mental juggling enhances their cognitive flexibility and makes them more adept at finding solutions. Enhanced creativity and multitasking. Now, let's touch on creativity and multitasking. Being able to think in multiple languages can boost your creativity. When you know more than one language, you have access to different cultural perspectives and ways of thinking, which can inspire more creative ideas. Multitasking is another area where bilingual individuals excel. Switching between languages requires mental agility and the ability to juggle multiple tasks simultaneously. This skill translates to other areas of life, making bilinguals more effective multitaskers. The role of motivation and mindset. Intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Next, let's dive into the role of motivation and mindset in language learning. Motivation is a key factor that can make or break your language learning journey. There are two main types of motivation, and that is intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It's driven by personal interest, enjoyment, and a genuine desire to learn. When you are intrinsically motivated, you are more likely to stick with language learning, even when it gets tough. For example, if you are learning a language because you love the culture and want to connect with native speakers, that's intrinsic motivation. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation is driven by external rewards or pressures, like needing to pass a language exam or getting a job that requires language skills. While extrinsic motivation can be helpful, it's often not enough to sustain long term commitment. That's why it's important to find your intrinsic reasons for learning a language. Growth mindset and language learning. Let's talk about mindset, specifically the growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. This is crucial in language learning. With a growth mindset, you see mistakes as opportunities to learn rather than failures. For example, if you make a mistake in a conversation, instead of feeling embarrassed, you can view it as a chance to improve. This positive attitude can significantly boost your progress. Setting smart goals. Another important aspect of motivation is setting goals, but not just any goals, SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Setting SMART goals can provide clear direction and motivation. For example, instead of saying, I want to get better at Spanish, set a SMART goal like, I will learn 10 new Spanish vocabulary words each week. This goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. It gives you a clear target to aim for and helps you track your progress. Effective learning strategies, immersive learning techniques. Now, let's get into some effective learning strategies. One of the most powerful methods is immersive learning. Immersion means surrounding yourself with a language as much as possible. This could mean watching TV shows or movies in the language you are learning, listening to music or podcast, or even traveling to a country where the language is spoken. The key is to expose yourself to the language in a natural and engaging way. For example, if you're learning French, try watching French movies with subtitles. You will pick up on pronunciation, slang, and cultural nuances that you would not get from a textbook. Next comes using technology and apps. In today's digital age, we have a wealth of technology and apps at our disposal to aid in language learning. Apps like Duolingo, Babbel, and Rosetta Stone offer interactive and engaging ways to learn. These apps use gamification to make learning fun. They often have daily practice reminders, progress tracking, and interactive exercises that keep you motivated. For example, Duolingo uses a streak system to encourage daily practice. The more consecutive days you practice, the longer you streak, which can be a great motivator. Practice and consistency. Consistency is key in language learning. It's better to practice a little bit every day than to have long, infrequent study sessions. Even 15 minutes of daily practice can make a huge difference over time. Set a routine that fits your schedule and stick to it. For instance, you could dedicate time each morning to review vocabulary or listen to a podcast in the language you are learning during your commute. Consistency helps reinforce what you have learned and keeps the language fresh in your mind. Using mnemonics and memory techniques. Lastly, let's talk about mnemonics and memory techniques. Mnemonics are memory aids that help you remember information through associations. For example, to remember that the Spanish word grande means big, You might imagine a grand, large building. Other memory techniques include creating visual images or stories to associate with new vocabulary. These methods can make learning more engaging and help you retain information longer. Common pitfalls and how to avoid them. Fear of making mistakes. Now, let's address some common pitfalls and how to avoid them. The first is the fear of making mistakes. Many language learners are afraid of making errors, but mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. Embrace your mistakes as learning opportunities. Each mistake is a chance to improve. Remember, everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. Don't let fear hold you back from practicing and using the language. Lack of practice and exposure. Another common pitfall is the lack of practice and exposure. Without regular practice, it's easy to forget what you have learned. Find ways to incorporate the language into your daily life. For example, label household items with their names in the language you are learning, or set your phone's language to your target language. The more you expose yourself to the language, the better you will retain it. Burnout and overwhelm. Lastly, be mindful of burnout and feeling overwhelmed. Learning a language can be challenging and it's easy to feel discouraged. Take breaks when needed, celebrate your progress, and remind yourself of your goals. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Pace yourself and enjoy the journey. To recap, today we explored the cognitive benefits of learning a new language, the importance of motivation and mindset, effective learning strategies, and common pitfalls to avoid. Remember, learning a language is a journey. It's not about perfection, but progress. I hope you found these insights helpful. Don't forget to practice, stay motivated, and enjoy the process. Share your language learning experiences in the comments below. And if you have not already, subscribe to English Story Podcast for more engaging content. Until next time, happy learning.